Okay. So before I forget, like, comment, and if you're not already subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe. Okay. Cool. Cool.
Today
Um,
on Bible Trek, Paul, what are we talking about?
love.
Okay, so we're talking about love. We
Like
pulled up some
it's in the
verses.
description. Not the description. It's in the title of the video.
Okay.
Someone's not a YouTuber.
Okay. The first verse is from Leviticus 19:18. Okay, so we looked up love in the Bible and we pulled up some verses here. So 19:18 says, "You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against the sons of your own people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself." So it's important for us to love ourselves, but to love our neighbors as ourselves also. Okay, and then we're going to go over to 1934. And it says, and this is still Leviticus 1934, it says, "You shall treat the stranger who sojourns with you as a native among you, and you shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt." So there's a lot of controversy about immigrants coming into the United States right now. It says here in the Bible that we should treat the stranger as we would a person from our own country. Okay, Paul, you're going to do Deuteronomy 6:5.
Can I do that now?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe you got other verses. I don't know.
I do. I have a lot more verses.
Okay, do them.
Okay. Well, let's go to Ecclesiastes. I'm looking at my, I have an app for my Bible on here. So I'm going to Ecclesiastes, and this one is 3:8. And it says, oh, I like this one a lot. The Birds sang this song. It says, "There's a time for everything. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven.
Actually,
A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather the stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing." And then I'm going to skip to verse 8,
No,
"A
I was-
time to love and a time to hate.
I would have seen that.
A time for war and a time for peace." Go ahead and sing it, Paul.
To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. You know what? When you said that, I thought you were actually meant actual birds. That was my first thought.
No. Okay, so I am going to go now to the New Testament, and I'm going to go to Mark. And this is verse 12:29. So, chapter 12, verse 29. And it says, the apostles asked Jesus, "Which commandment is the most important of all?" Jesus answered, "The most important commandment is to love the Lord our God with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our mind, and with all our strength. The second most important is you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these," Jesus said. Okay, Mark 6. Mark chapter 6, 27. This could be a little bit longer. Okay, and it said here, let's go back just a little bit. And it says, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. Mark 6:27. That is definitely not the right one. So let me move on. It says, "Love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. pray for those who work against you. Okay, then I'm going to go to 1 Corinthians. And it is chapter 13, starting with verse 1. And it says, Corinthians, and if I do not have love, okay, here it is. If I speak in tongues of men and angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gong and a clanging cymbal. Lots of times they play this they say this at a wedding. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all that I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, but I have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. So now, hope, faith, and love abide. These three, but the greatest of these is love. Okay, they always say that at weddings. All right, we'll go into another one, Galatians. And this is Galatians chapter 5, verse 13 and 14. And it says, For you were called to freedom, brothers, only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another. For the whole law is fulfilled in one word. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Okay? Let's go to Ephesians 2. Chapter 2, verse 4 and 5. A lot of messages on love. But God, being rich in mercy, because of the great love with which he loved us, even when we were dead in our trespasses, made us alive together with Christ. By Christ and by grace you have been saved, and he raised us up with him and seated us with him in the heavenly places in Christ Jesus. All right, let's go to Philippians 2. And let's see this one. It says, So if there is any encouragement in Christ, any comfort from love, any participation in the Spirit, any affection and sympathy, complete my joy by being of the same mind, having the same love, being of full accord and of one mind. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. Okay. Paul, you want to do yours? I've got two more that I want to do.
Okay, do
But
them.
do them now? Okay. I'm going to Colossians. And this is chapter 2, 12. Okay. Okay. let's see, where does it start now? Colossians. Therefore, of God's chosen people, clothe yourself in compassion. I'm looking for that. I've written down. Oh, I don't see it. It says, therefore, as God's chosen people, clothe yourself in compassion. That was a really good one. I don't know why I'm not seeing it here. But I don't see it. So I'll go on to Colossians 3. Colossians 3, 19 to 23. 19. Says, husbands, love your wives, and do not be harsh with them. Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. Fathers, do not provoke your children, lest they become discouraged. Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward.
Somehow I'm thinking that's it. I wasn't paying
Yep.
attention. Okay.
Your turn, Paul.
I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know. Okay. Deuteronomy 6, verse 5. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your strength. Didn't you get to that one?
It's several places in the Bible.
Oh. I'm thinking Matthew 5:43 you got. Did you get
No.
that one? Oh, okay.
No.
Dang it, because you know what you didn't. Someone had to write my verses down and where.
Matthew 5:43.
I gotta look this up because someone had to write my verses down and.
Okay, here it
leave
is.
me.
You have heard that it was said.
You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemy and pray for those who persecute you.
Okay, and that was Jesus saying that.
Yes, Jesus. That was Jesus.
It's red in the Bible.
It's not right there.
It's red. That's red.
Oh, I didn't look.
Okay, what's your next one?
Romans 8:35. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall trouble or hardship or persecution or famine or nakedness or danger or sword?
So
None of it.
None of it will separate us from the love of Christ.
The devil won't.
So these are the verses on love in the Bible.
So, again, like I said, I think I got to this at the beginning of the video. Like, comment, and if you're not already subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe. And by the way, I will be getting a harsh one of these videos. I mean, it's gonna be tough love type thing. Tough love, strictly tough love.
Pray for those you love and be sure to tell them every day, I
Yes.
love you.
I'm trying my best to love people. I'm having a hard time, but I am loving people. I'm trying, at least. I promise I'm actually trying. Otherwise, I wouldn't tell you any of the harsh part of the Bible. I would just say everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everybody's happy. Okay.